Okay, so it is October 10th, and I have not actually filmed for a couple of days, so I just haven't been feeling, like after last week, which is so busy, I got a little bit of a cold and I wasn't feeling great, and I actually didn't even read a whole lot, like I just took it easy. I'm back. Um, so I actually had to work 2 days too, so yeah, it's been crazy. Um, but that being said, I did want to do a little bit of an update on Elizabeth Gaskell's short stories. So particularly the ones here in Cousin Phyllis, I thought I was further along than I turned out to be. There are more stories in here than I thought, which is sort of a nice thing. I'm not much of a short story reader though. I tend to like books a little on the longer side, just because I feel like I like the connection to the place and the characters that you get with a long story. Which in short stories, and they can be done really well and I can really enjoy them, they just don't stay with me the way that a full-length novel does. So, the first one in here is called Lizzie Lee, and I really liked it. Despite being a short story, I felt really connected to the characters and to the place because it reminded me a lot of like Mary Barton or Ruth. So despite the fact that it really had nothing to do with her other novels, the setting just felt really similar and it felt like themes she had explored before, which made it feel familiar even though it was new. It could have easily been like a side plot in one of those books. And the next one, I need to take a look here, the next one was Morton Hall. And Morton Hall was okay. It didn't really capture my interest in quite the same way. It was more of a history of a house. It reminded me of actually one of Lucy Maud Montgomery's short stories that was just never my favorite. And it's okay. It was sort of like, the high have fallen to low places, but still have their pride kind of thing. It was fine. It didn't really keep me motivated to pick it up though. And the next one was actually sort of similar in story. It's called The French Master, My French Teacher, My French Master. So My French Master was another story of a Frenchman and then his children. And at first it took me a while to get into it, but by the end I actually did end up enjoying it. But I feel like about the time I'm getting into these short stories is about the time that they finish, which is just not compelling than to start the next one. I feel like I'm just moving from story to story to story and I'm losing the connection. Which, I mean, it's not exactly a bad thing, it's just not usually my cup of tea. It's not proving to be my favorite thing. So I'm really actually thinking as soon as I finish these short stories, I'm going to jump straight into Wives and Daughters. Because I'm excited about that one. So I had wanted to do Knit and Read Along this year with Victober too. When Kate Howell and Mel posted the announcements. I'll link all the host channels down below, of course. But I'm just not very good about reading multiple books at the same time, which I know is crazy because I've already mentioned that I'm reading 4 books right now. That's probably though why I haven't finished anything. I get really distracted trying to multitask with books. I really like to focus on about 2 at a time, really is my preference, maybe 3. But if I'm doing an audiobook and a nonfiction and a fiction, I can have 3. But generally, I'm a 2 book at a time, audiobook and a paperback. That's who I am. It's my reading preference. It's how I enjoy reading the most. Just me. So having already started David Copperfield on audiobook, I didn't really want to go ahead and start Adam Bede as well. But I decided to go ahead and start knitting sometimes while I am listening to my audiobook, and then I can go ahead and pick up Adam Bede as soon as I'm done with David Copperfield. So I will be listening to Adam Bede with everyone, just not quite yet, even though I've started my project. Everyone doing sweaters, I decided to pull a baby sweater out of my pattern collection. I've collected several patterns in the United Kingdom Hand Knitting Association, and I just hadn't knitted in a while and thought it might be nice to do a smaller project to, just make sure that my tension and my gauge and everything was where it's supposed to be before I picked up something bigger. So I am using Caron's Simply Soft in the color Sunshine, and I'm making this cute little v-neck cardigan. It is October 12th now. I am once again coming home from work, and I guess I like to film in the car on my way home from work after I get home. Alright, So, David Copperfield. I am still listening to it. I have like 15 hours left, so I'm about 22 hours through. I didn't realize quite how long this audiobook would be when I picked it up, which is really not a bad thing. I know Dickens tends to be somewhat lengthy, but I love it. I love him so much, and mostly, or one of the main things I love about Dickens is his characters. So in this particular novel, I am wholeheartedly in love with Betsy Trotwood. I think she is a delight. I cannot tell you, like, I don't want to give any spoilers because I hate that myself, but Miss Trotwood, Miss Betsy, is the mom. She's just amazing. Oh, I love her. She's definitely a favorite Dickens character for me. I'm loving Agnes, and I just feel like there's a host of really colorful and amazing characters that Dickens gives us. So he gives us this wide, colorful host of just fascinating people and sort of weaves it all together, and I just think it's brilliant. So that is what I had to say about David Copperfield today. I was hoping originally to finish this within the 2-week mark, but it's probably going to take me to the end of this week to get this audiobook finished, because like I said, I still have 15 hours left, but I am loving the experience. So good. Okay, so it's October 14th, and we are officially 2 weeks into Victober, which is crazy. How did it go by so fast? I have worked the last 3 nights in a row, spent more time at the hospital than I have at home, and so that has been my life, which means I have listened to David Copperfield on my commute, and I've listened to David Copperfield while I've gotten ready for work, and that's about it. So, I can't say a whole lot more than that. I don't want to say anything spoilery about David Copperfield, but David's taste in women is unfortunate. However, having just read War and Peace, I feel like Dora Spenlow is the character perhaps that she's a similar character to what Tolstoy was trying to write in Natasha. And somehow I'm not liking Dora. I think she is kind of a flake, but she doesn't make me as upset as Natasha did. And I'm trying to decide, I mean, it's not really fair to compare authors, but I don't know, in this case I feel like Dickens is ponying Tolstoy. So, anyway, that's just my random thought of the day. I'm gonna go in and do a little bit of reading, alright? Okay, slightly different video. Earlier I had talked, I'm hoping it wasn't spoilery. I might have to cut out parts of earlier's video because I don't really want to spoil anything. I hate spoilers. But in a completely non-spoiler way, I had not really thought about what reading does for your empathy as a person until I joined the book community online, on Instagram particularly. And Dickens is a really good example for that for me, because he creates a whole host of somewhat ridiculous or simple or childish characters, but he has mixed in characters of strength, characters who are conniving, characters who are wicked, like he has a whole gamut, but his best characters can see the flaws in others, but not, they have a lot of grace and compassion. So I think that, like, in David Copperfield, whereas Agnes might recognize and never want to be like David's child wife, she doesn't look down on her at all. In fact, she sees her potential as a person and tries to encourage that, and I think it's beautiful. So that's my takeaway from today and Dickens.